Welcome
Good
to episode
evening.
18. Episode 18. Binkies and other stuff.
Binkies and other stuff. So we did it on Friday night, and we had a calendar and everything.
Yep.
In hindsight, I mean, we were kind of still sick, so maybe it was too late, all right? Everything just happened at that time.
True.
Yeah, so we did it on Friday. We said it was the last night with his binky. He could fall asleep with it. And then in the night, it would just be gone. And in the morning, he wasn't like super sad. I don't know. Was he super
No,
sad?
he
in the
woke
morning?
up
Oh, yeah, he did.
At
Well,
like 4 in the morning
yeah, sorry.
screaming. He went to bed okay, obviously, because he had his binky.
Yeah. Yeah, he woke up at like 4 and he was like, "Where's my binky?" And we were like, "It's gone."
That's when I knew. I had an inkling when you said it, but I was like, well, I'm not sure. I've never done this before. When you're like, it's going to come in the middle of the night, I was like, it was supposed to be like a morning thing. And then we'd get to that bridge when it came. I don't know what would have been better.
I don't either, dude.
The other way, he might not have woken up in the night, but it might have been a really rough sleep.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. And then, so that was rough, but we got him excited about his presence I mean, look, if we're being honest, like, did he need the presents? No. The presents were to assuage our guilt of having to take away the binky. Are we perfect parents? No.
Yeah.
Never said we were.
No, I think we
Never
could
said
have.
we were.
You could kind of justify it as like you're taking it away, and like how we set it up to where like it brings something with it, like in return for that, like that's not you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But really, that's just a guise, like, because we know Ollie, and yeah, like that initial excitement, like might dissuade him for a second, but like ultimately, he's not gonna forget, and he's gonna go through what he's gonna go through regardless of what he gets.
And true to form that night, because he was fine. The whole day he was fine. A little bit he started acting out at the end of the day, but he was fine. And then that night, I think you must have been in there for like a whole hour or more.
Oh, it was more. I didn't come out until like 8:15.
It was crazy. And all his feelings were coming out. He was saying he hated you.
Yeah, he was saying he hated me, that I was the only person that was never allowed to play with him ever again, and that he didn't want his toys, and that he and then he would say that he hated the Binky Fairy and didn't like his stuffed animals, and he just wanted a pacifier back, and his pacifier back, and Binky. And he would just say all those things like over and over.
You said he also was like, "Why?"
Yeah, he did say that 3 times. He was, yeah, that was the hardest. Those were the hardest ones where it was like, it wasn't like a little kid talking. Like, it wasn't like an infant or a toddler talking. It was like a little kid that was like.
Heartbroken.
Yeah.
Heartbroken.
Yeah. Yeah, and like understood it enough to like ask almost like the right kind of questions that like an adult would ask when they were really sad. It's like, Jesus. It would have been easier had we done this earlier.
When he was younger.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because he wouldn't have developed a logical emotional attachment to it. You know what I mean? Like, he would know that he liked it, but his brain wouldn't have like formed like a core memory.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And he also had this like. So the next day was fine, which was Saturday. No, the next. So we woke up Saturday, no binky, went to sleep, had a meltdown. Sunday morning, woke up fine. And he even was like, I think he even said to you like, "Oh, I want my thing," and you were like, "I'm so sorry."
You can't have your binky. I told you, and he was like, "Not my binky. I'm talking about." this like little tool wristband thing.
Yeah. And we're like, oh, yeah, yeah. And so it's fine. And,
It was just
and
crazy
Sunday
that
was
he
like,
talked about
okay.
it so nonchalantly.
Yeah. And so Sunday was okay. Sunday night was good too.
He cried a little bit.
Did he?
Yeah. But remember that was when you were like, ugh. You were like, what? How much? He was making a lot of noise. It sounded bad, and I was like, it wasn't that bad.
Oh. And then Monday morning was fine. And Monday evening
was yesterday evening, and he had a bit of a meltdown.
And then today, he went to daycare all day, and he came back. He was fine, but then he had like lots of feelings still. And we were on the trampoline. And it was time to come inside to eat dinner. He had a bit of a meltdown, and we got inside, and it was fine. We were eating, and he was still just sort of like feelings that were so raw, and he didn't know. And we were like, tell us why you're, and nothing. And then he started hitting and scratching me and anyone that came close, but I happened to be next to him. So I took him. Well, I mean, I didn't, I was like, well, sort of, I did. I sort of like safe grabbed him because he was hitting and kicking, and I took him into the bedroom. And he was so mad, and he was so sad. And finally, like, all of us went in, and finally, he told us he was still sad about his Binkie. And I was like, oh, baby heart, that makes so much sense. I understand. And I told him about when I was little, which is a true story, that when I was little, and this rag that I used to, like, eat, you know, not like swallow, but like chewed on, and you know, as kids do. And my parents, one time we went to a laundromat to do laundry, and my parents were like, oh, it's lost. And it was really sad for me. And I remember that it was really sad. And so I told him, and I was like, I know how you feel, and it is so sad, and I'm so sorry that the Binkie just can't come back. And I cried, and he cried, and he came over, and it was fine. And then I was like, it's bedtime. Yeah, and it was bedtime, and he did not want it to be bedtime. So I said,
I think he was sad because he like wanted to go play, but we were outside. He wanted to go play with his toys. He didn't even see his toys since he got home at 4. You know what I mean? Like we were outside. I cooked, and then we had dinner. Had that meltdown situation. You went straight to the bedroom with him to like talk, and that took forever, and then to that, and then by the time that was done, I was like, well, we don't have time for a shower, it's just bedtime, I guess.
Oh my goodness.
And yeah,
and he said he didn't want to, so I said, baby, listen, when it's bedtime, all the toys turn off. There's no phones, there's no Netflix, there's no toys, nothing. We just have to clean. And he was like, I'll clean. He cleaned so freaking good.
he did.
And I was just like finding other things for him to clean. And at some point he was like, I don't want to clean anymore. I want to go to bed. So I was like, okay. So then he went pee with Jesse. And then he didn't want to go to bed after that. I don't know why. And it was just and then he started having like an actual, like he was not in his right mind kind of like outburst. And I was just very patient, and I didn't reciprocate, and I was just loving and waiting for him. And if he was being like unsafe towards me, I did like safe grab him, but safe hold him, whatever. But I just let him, and he calmed himself down so freaking beautifully. And then he just like came over, and he sat next to me, and he was just watching me. He was breathing, and I was like, oh, my baby heart. And I could tell he was kind of falling asleep. And I thought he was going to fall back, so I put my hand behind his back, and he was like, oh my God, what is that? And I was like, no, I just thought you were going to fall. And then he like, and then he was like, where's Daddy? And I was like, oh, baby. And he came, and he sat on my lap, and I was like, I'm so sorry. I know you love Daddy, but I was like, I really miss you, and I really want to and I would really love to put you to bed tonight if you would let me. Did you know that when you were little, I was the one who put you to bed all the time, and I miss your snuggles,
For a long,
and
long, long time.
I miss you, and he just like fell asleep in my arms on the floor, and he had taken off his pants, his pajama pants, because he was like really mad and he didn't want them on, and he like tore them off, and somehow I put them back on while he was passed out, and then I like laid him in the bed and he was fine. But oh my goodness, there are some serious feelings that he's feeling. And I said to him, I said, you know, he was like, I'm happy now. When we were, after we were all talking, he was like, I'm happy now. I was like, I'm glad you're happy now, baby, but I just want you to know, if you get sad again, it's okay. I said, it's okay, and I'm really happy that you're happy right now, but if you get sad again, that's okay too. And he did get sad again, obviously, after that. And it's been hard. It's been so hard. I feel so much guilt over it, because we as his parents were the ones who were like, who gave him the binky only to take it away, and it just seems so cruel in hindsight. And I know that we're learning as parents, and I'm not like, oh, we're such horrible evil parents. No, it's more, like, I know that it's like I know that it's a trial and error kind of situation. And I saw this video, and it was like these people had like 3 kids, and they were talking about like with the first one they gave them a binky, and they were like, it took a fucking year for them to wean their kid off of their binky. I don't know how they did it. I don't know their methods. And they were like, so the next child, we just gave him like a little, what did they give? We just let him suck his thumb. And they were like, that's a really hard. It took a year for them to wean that child off of their thumb. And they were like, all right, 3rd kid, we're just gonna give him a blinky. And then it like panned to the child, who was like now 12 or something. And he had his blinky around his shoulders.
That's really old. Wow. That's crazy.
Well, my sister's had Tito for like, since she
But
stole Tito.
like, she doesn't like take him with her to like work in school. You know what I mean? Like,
no, right. Of course, she doesn't
like
do
Linus.
that. No.
You know what I mean? I just picture like Linus, but 12 instead of like, I don't know.
I'm sure
7.
he just like has it around the house, and when he comes home, he like finds it.
Find the blankie. Well, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
But like Kai, I wanted to try to get him like, I wanted him to try to like this like sloth thingy. It's like a blanket with like a head of a sloth and the tail, the arms of a sloth. You know what I'm talking about? Like, it can be any animal, but
like
mine just so happens to be like a
toy,
like a sloth.
Not
And
toy.
there's like, we also have like an elephant. There's like lots. It can be whatever you want it to be. Okay. Anyway, and so, but he hates it. Like, he hates it with such a passion. Like, if I try to get him to sleep with it, he cries and like grabs it, and he's like, ugh, and like flings it off. And if he's in bed, because I've done it 2 nights, I've only done it 2 nights, and then I never did it again, because every single time, if he feels like that thing is touching him, he will scream until it's not touching him. And it's so freaking crazy. I think, all right, he's going to pass out, and I'm just going to like shove it in, and it's going to be great. And he's going to be like, oh, I do love it. No, he finds it. He like wakes himself up out of this like deep, like a deep slumber. He finds it, and he's like, and he like chucks it. I know. Maybe our kids just aren't meant to have anything. Like, all he had is Binky, but he will not accept stuffies. Like, he will not accept stuffed animals. And Kai, he knows about his hands, but he just doesn't care. And also, he doesn't care about stuffed animals either. So I guess our kids will just have nothing.
Yeah, he's fine. He doesn't.
I mean, he's fine anyway. But like, I just like it when they carry their thing, when they have something that they love. I love it.
Yeah.
But I guess like if it gets lost, then I don't have to worry about anything because there's nothing that could get lost now. I mean, the Binkie's already gone. There's nothing that could get lost that he would be like devastated over.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's interesting. Like unhealthy emotional connections to things for comfort.
I
Like
mean,
even at
there's
that
nothing
age.
wrong with like liking a favorite blanket or like having a favorite like stuffed animal. There's
No.
absolutely nothing wrong with that's not like an unhealthy.
No, I'm saying like when it's I guess maybe it's just that kids don't know how to regulate or understand their emotions as much. That's why it's like a different reaction.
Yeah.
Because it
Well, yeah.
seems like an extreme attachment, but it's really just like maybe the same attachment, but the way they express like sadness and grief is different than an adult.
Yeah, well, yeah. I feel like I was really devastated when I lost my engagement ring.
Mm-hmm.
But if I was a kid, I would have reacted like that. But I didn't because
Yeah.
I've learned how to
Yeah,
regulate
exactly.
it. Yeah. Yeah. And that's, that's part of our job is to, as parents, is to
Yeah.
regulate their emotions. I'm so sorry, I'm yawning. Like, okay, so I'm kind of writing this, like, book thing, and it's, like, meant to be, like, a diary, sort of like, my first year as a parent of two. Oh, my God, and that's, like, going to be done in a month. Like,
You'll be on your second, or we'll be on our second year.
yeah, he's going to be
22nd.
a year old.
Like, is today the 22nd? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a month from today.
Yeah.
Was
Yeah.
yesterday the solstice?
Yeah.
Happy
It was the
solstice.
solstice, yeah. But,
Summer.
wow. So for like a year almost, like 11 months, every night, I've been writing like a diary entry, if you will, about like my day and the things that I felt as a parent and things like that. Like the things that I've been learning as a parent of two or the things that I've been going through as a parent of two. And I do it every single night. I can't go to sleep until I do it. But last night, I didn't.
You didn't?
No, I had to write the note this morning as soon as I realized that I hadn't written it last night.
It's 11 months down.
Yeah,
One to go.
I didn't. You know how I fell asleep? So, like, okay, I'm very superstitious, and my feet have to completely be covered by blankets because that's just, that's my gremlin and I will attack it later or deal with, but no, things can come get my feet. I don't know. Okay. But so like I,
As Dave
and then I was
say.
like,
Give me them
feeding
towels.
him the bottle and then he didn't want the bottle anymore because he was full finally, thank goodness. And then he was like having difficulty. He's teething. He's like doing his two front teeth, and they are so painful for him. Poor
I know
baby.
that's definitely why he's been so
he is
volatile
struggling.
at night.
Struggle for like a week and a half. We've been like only going to bed at like 1 o'clock. One time I didn't go to bed till 3 freaking o'clock, and then I was awake by 6 or by 5.
Oh.
Actually, by 5. Like how crazy is that? Anyway, sorry. Anyway, focus. Yeah, I fell asleep in the same exact position in which like he didn't want his bottle. I put the bottle here. I don't know, but I fell asleep and my whole body was uncovered except for my feet. And I was cold, but I didn't even like I moved not a single muscle that entire from like 12 to 6 whole hours. I did not even like
That's
move.
awesome.
I was so exhausted. I don't remember falling asleep. I just because before I go to sleep, right before I go to sleep, after I've settled him in, no matter what time it is normally, I turn around, like away from him, so the light isn't in his face, and I text myself my diary entry, and I did it last night
That's
for the
almost
first
like-
time, and I can't
Excuse me.
even.
That's almost like how it is for me with H. pylori when I get the like lethargic symptoms. It's like I feel like I've been like hit by a tranquilizer dart and like I'm gonna like fall to the ground and like if I make it to the bed, I'm like I don't even want to look at the stuff on my phone that I normally do. Like I can't even like plug this in. Like, so
That's
it's crazy.
crazy.
It's
It felt
weird
like that
because
yesterday. Yeah.
it's weird because you typically, well, I mean, obviously it's not weird knowing what I was going through, but it's weird that like you usually get less sleep than me. Like I think on average, maybe if it, whether it's 30 minutes or an hour or whatever, I think that like it still matters. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
just feel like with Kai waking up more, um, and like normally like I phase in and out, but like
Yeah.
you're actually like
Yeah.
there
I'm
more than
I'm in
I.
on it. Yeah.
Um,
There's sometimes where
yeah,
it's
it's
like
weird that you're not
push him onto
like
you, and
it's
I'm
weird that
like,
you're not that level of tired more.
I did hear that. What is that? Is that
It's
Ollie? Ollie's
Ollie.
coughing. Kai is awake now too. Oh my gosh, I have to hit the BRB button. I've never done that before. I'm sure it won't take long. Stick with us and we'll be right back. Okay? Okay, I promise.
Sam had to get Kai. Ugh. And so Ollie is sleeping, but Kai is not. Definitely one of the disadvantages of co-sleeping. Probably the biggest disadvantage of co-sleeping is this: that when you have multiple, they can wake each other up during all of the different transitions they're going through in life. Um, yeah. Speaking of transitions, like we've been talking about the pacifier, Binkie transition. The trans. I'm nervous for the transition from co-sleeping to getting their own room. Um, I don't know when that will happen with them, and I'm totally fine with the way it is now. And I think as Kai gets older, it's going to get even easier. Until one day, obviously, independent wise, they're going to want their own room, and like we're already prepared for like that room and like space wise, but for the actual process, like Ollie right now, he's 3, and he is like really afraid of the dark, so that like that's the only part of the transition that I feel like is going to be hard. Like he doesn't like being alone, but only because he's afraid of the dark and what's in it. And I don't know where he learned about ghosts and well, obviously like monsters. We joke about monsters a lot, but like he learned about ghosts and uh like in context because he like roughly understands the idea of them being in the dark and like coming out of nowhere, which is crazy to think about. But like in that, with those things, I feel like it's going to be a lot harder to transition him to his own room. And Sam and I actually think that Kai is going to get there sooner, in like in terms of readiness, and so Ollie will just leave with Kai. Um, even though he's the older brother. Like, and there's nothing wrong with that, but I just think I don't see it happening any other way. Like, I see Kai being like, "I'm ready for my own room," even though like he's more cuddly. Like, even with that, I think he just won't have the same fears, and Ollie will be like, "Well, I guess I'll just go too." Um, sure, why not? Um, so yeah, I don't know. That'll be an interesting time, interesting transition with the night stuff. Um, but I like even with this issue, like I am such a fan of co-sleeping. It's not ideal necessarily space wise. With 2, we have like a really really big like beds together, and then there's like the hole in the middle, right? Um, not the best space wise, but in terms of like if anything's happening, like you don't have to get up and disturb your sleep as much. So would definitely recommend uh if that's something that's the most important to you, which to us um it with kids has definitely been that most important. I'm just watching her like put him back to sleep. I is it just us like we've had so much trouble with both of them sleeping. Like I just can't fathom a baby that like actually sleeps through the night, like the whole night, and like doesn't need like reassurance or like extra amounts to get them through. I just don't know if it exists. I mean, obviously it exists. That's an exaggeration. I don't know how common our situation is compared to that situation. Um, because it just seems like sleep gets disturbed with every growth, like big growth that they're going through. Like that can like upset their sleep schedule. So it's like every tooth, every little cold, every vaccine, every growth spurt, every like milestone, like walking, talking. Uh oh, Sam. Oh, come on. Uh ooh ooh. No, come back. He 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 got up and looked up and then passed out. When I was putting him to sleep, I woke him up today by laughing
Oh.
because he's like, I'm like rocking him and he's like, why? And then all of a sudden he's like, it's like he's so tired.
Yeah.
He's pretending not to be tired, and then all of a sudden it just hits him, and he's like, his eyes are like, ooh, like, ooh, and then, and then,
Yeah.
and then he opens back up and he's, ah, ah, ah. And it's just like it was normally when I'm putting him to sleep, I just close my eyes and I'm like rocking him. I don't even look at his face because then he like looks at you
Yeah.
and then he like tries to grab you. And
I
everything.
look at him and we share moments, but then
Yeah,
I look away.
yeah. Like I start looking away when he starts like fading. But yeah, I think it's funny. I know. Oh come on, bro.
He's also teething and
I know.
yeah. Um what were we even talking about before when we left, you know? It's that kind of moment for me. Yeah, so the binky was gone. Yeah, and it was a nice it was just so lovely. Like he fell asleep like in my arms and I put him in bed and it was nice. Oh, my thing. Yeah, my book thing. Yeah, and I was so exhausted that I didn't even I don't I don't think in my life that I've like more than a handful of times been that exhausted. Like I can only think of a few times where I wake up and I don't know, like I'm so disoriented from like just being so exhausted and not even knowing where I passed out or how that happened. Like I've never like from being tired and stuff. Um and I've never just like passed out without like unless I was like going in for like surgery and they put me to, they put me down, but um under whatever and but yeah, I don't think I don't pass out like that. It normally takes me a long time, or like I'll on purpose be like, all right, I'm going to sleep now, and then I'll like put everything away and then fall asleep. Like I always like, well, except for the handful of times I'm just like like I like there's a clear in my brain. I'm like, okay, now I'm gonna go to sleep. Now I'm gonna try to go to sleep now. But yesterday I was so I didn't even know which way was up. I was like, I'm sure you guys have been there. I'm sure you any parent has been there. We were just talking about parents. Why was I talking about parents with him? Nope, no clue. Um Kai definitely prefers me more to Jesse, but so he has this thing. So we moved our beds around. As you know, we co-sleep, or if you don't know, we co-sleep. I like it. I don't want to wake up in the middle of the night and run to another room. I like feeling them next to me. I like that way I can just be like, "Oh my gosh, are you okay? You're okay." Especially when they were babies, I'd be like, "Is everything okay?" Anyway, so we have a setup where we have like like a large twin, an XL twin, I don't whatever, and a queen together so that we can all sleep together. And um we shoved it like before, like it was in the middle of the room, and Jesse slept on one end, then it was Ollie, then it was me, then it was Kai, and we had a bumper for Kai, but he was starting to like to be to the point where it was like not a super secure thing anymore. Just like walking, he like would stand up and walk along the way anyway, and we didn't want him to like, and it was like really loose. Anyway, point is, we decided to change that up, and we shoved the bed to one side of the room, and so now Ollie sleeps at the end, like with the wall as a barrier, and then it's Jesse, me, and Kai. But because Kai slept on my on my left side for so long, he got used to like getting comfort like this way, like this way, right? Where he was on the left and I was on the right. But the way that he is now, Jesse and I try to switch, but Jesse likes the middle more than the outside, and I like the outside more than the middle. And so we just kind of sleep there a little bit now. But I miss being next to Ollie, so we do switch up sometimes, but not a lot.
Yeah, I was talking about co-sleeping too.
And so Kai isn't used to me being on his left side, and he doesn't like it. He doesn't like it at all. And so he moves to his other side. He moves to his right to get comfort from Jesse, who will turn into him. But he's like, "Who the fuck are you? Mm-hmm. You're not mom."
Yeah.
I'm out. And so then he cries and he turns over and he finds me and he's like, "Oh, Mom, there you are. Ugh, I hate this side."
That's exactly what it feels like he does.
It begins
exactly what I think he's doing.
Maybe he like passes out with me, and then he's like, "Oh, I don't like being on this side," and then he flips over to be with me. I'm not there.
That's exactly what happens.
And he just hates it.
He hates it. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. That's where, when I sleep, Kai, I just hum nonsensical, like, I'll have like a couple of like measures from one song, then I'll add it to another song, and then I'll mix it, whatever, and it just goes into an endless like mixture of songs that evolve from like one kind of song to like a different kind of like, it's just crazy. But he loves it. Maybe he doesn't love it. I don't know, but I do it. And sometimes he tries to sing with me, and it's the cutest thing, and I have to try really hard not to laugh. And the last time that he did it, he was like, he was going for it, and I wanted to get my phone, but it was so far away, and if I moved, I knew he would be like, "Hello, are we awake?" And so I didn't want to move. It was just really cute. I wish I had gotten it on video. But I also always have the television going because it sounds like there's people talking in the room, and it gets him to sleep faster.
Yeah.
You tried music today, and that works. That works. I just feel like
I was actually gonna watch Treasure Planet, but he kept looking back at it.
Yeah, you have to pick something that's very adult. Like people are talking in an adult way, not like, with like dramatic animated.
And so then I just put on music.
Yeah. Did it take him a while to get over that?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Also, I forgot to brush his teeth, and I looked down, and he had like a bunch of stuff in between here.
No.
And I was like, no. So we got up. I went downstairs to get a floss stick. Flossed it, and I was like, I might as well set up the stream stuff because you guys were on the floor, but I couldn't hear you on the camera, and so I didn't know whether you were still talking to him and he was having a freak out and you're just letting him do his thing on the floor, or if like I didn't think you were actually getting him to sleep on the floor with the light on.
Yeah.
And so
I
I
just rolled with it.
so I was like, they're gonna be in there forever, so I'll just come downstairs, do that, and then like get everything ready and then brush his teeth. And so I got everything ready and then
Was he like,
yeah, he was. Yeah.
that definitely woke him up more than
Yeah.
you needed to. That's really funny.
But he wasn't like an ounce of sleep in him.
Yeah.
I feel like when I was trying before.
Yeah.
So like whatever, and then I rinsed his toothbrush and then we tried again.
Yeah. Ollie was like adamant that he did not want to brush his teeth or floss. And I just let him pass out. And then when he was passed out, he was like, and with my floss stick, I was like,
Sorry. That's hilarious, Sam.
man, I was like, what if I was like, I should brush his teeth too. And I was like, no, because what if he chokes on it?
Yeah, I'll have to
And
brush
I
him
was like,
in the morning.
Jesus.
That's
So I wasn't able to like brush his teeth, but I flossed because we ate like ribs, and it was like, and I couldn't not do it, and he didn't even wake up.
Yeah.
He didn't move at all. He was like,
That's awesome. He's a really deep sleeper. Once he gets to sleep, he's a really deep sleeper.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So was Kai though. Kai's a very, very deep sleeper too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kai wakes up more though.
Yeah. But all because he's teething. Before that,
Yeah.
Ollie
Oh
woke
my
up
gosh.
literally before
That's
this
so weird.
stunt. And just even when Kai was a baby, like Ollie normally woke up more times than Kai.
Yeah.
Like just even like a couple of like months ago, like even since Kai was born, Ollie normally wakes up more than Kai. Like Kai wakes up the amount of times
Yeah.
that a baby should be waking up, and except for just now, like when he's teething, like
Yeah.
he normally
I feel
sleeps
like
the whole
he's
night,
been
but
waking up like every night, all night
for
since,
like
like,
a week
it
and a
feels
half.
like it's been since pre trip.
No, it wasn't pre-trip. Pre-trip, we were sleeping golden.
Not during trip though.
Not too much during trip, but not too bad during trip either. And then when we got here is when sort of he started a little bit, but it wasn't until after we came back from my parents' house that next weekend. So it's been like 2 weeks that he's been just like every day as soon as we get in bed, he wakes up and he's like, "Oh, I'll be awake for 3 hours now, thanks."
Yeah.
Which has been hard, obviously. And we've been sleep trading every day. There's no question, like without fail, we need to do a sleep trade every single morning.
Just to keep up on our sleep.
Yeah. I didn't do it one morning, and I was so
nauseous.
exhausted and nauseous by the time the day was over. And I took a nap today with Kai too.
I couldn't. I didn't when we were sleep training today. I couldn't go to sleep, and then I came in like halfway into it, and I was like, "It's fine, it's whatever," because I wasn't sleeping anyways. Like I don't know, I just couldn't go to sleep.
I'm so sorry. That happened to me that's happened to me during one of our other sleep trades. It's the worst. It's because there's like a clock. There's like a clock. Like you want to
Yeah.
get as much as possible, and then like you can't, and you're like, I'm gonna go crazy. I'm gonna go crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's never fun.
Yeah.
My eyes.
But today I actually do feel like I woke up and I felt better.
Good.
Like I felt really well rested, and I think I was like just because of like the things that we had to do today and stuff, we could only sleep trade for like at most like 45 minutes, and it took me a long time to go back to sleep before those and I felt like I didn't even go to sleep, but then I did.
Yeah.
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 And then I had a really vivid dream when I was sleeping with Kai during his nap. And I felt like I had rushed, like I had gotten up to use the restroom, and but Kai was like mid restroom use. Kai was like, "I'm gonna get up and fall off the bed now," and it was just like so stressful. And then Kai stirred, and I woke up and I was like, "Did that for real not happen?"
That sucks.
I'm so glad that didn't happen. And it was like a relief because it was such a vivid dream. But I'm so glad. Like when I woke up, I was like not even mad. I just felt so glad that that hadn't happened.
And
because
that
it
was the
like
night yesterday where you were
No, that was when I took a nap with him.
when you took a nap with him.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it took me a really long time to fall asleep. And I'll tell you why. Like, I have really bad circulation. And my feet, like, for the past, like, 2 nights have been just, like freezing. The past 2 times that I've taken a nap with Kai, but also, like, during our sleep trade, my feet just could not get warm. And I've had, like, bunches of, like, piles and piles and piles of, like, blankets on top of my feet, and still, like, if it like I wake up and my feet are still freezing because of my very bad circulation. But I was reading online that it has to do with, like, it might have to do a little bit with being, like, anemic, which I kind of am. And so we had me today.
Well, and you have been in the past, and you might be.
Yeah, and I have been in the past. And so so that happened to me today when we were, like, taking a nap. My feet were just freezing. I felt like my whole body was freezing because, like, also I get cold really easily. And the air conditioning wasn't even on that low. Or, you know, like, it was a very reasonable temperature, but I was like shivering, and I was trying to get warm, and it was really hard for me to fall asleep because I was freezing. I hate when that happens. Yeah.
Huh. I didn't get to sleep today.
I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
I know he just ran in, and I was like, I couldn't stop him. Why couldn't I stop him? I don't even remember.
I don't know.
He just ran in.
That's why I lock the door when it's really important to me. Because he doesn't do that to you. He's just like, where's Daddy? And then he runs to get me, and I'm in the room.
Yeah.
Wakes me up. Bro.
I don't know why he doesn't do it to me, but I'm grateful. Kai will do it to me 100%. Kai's going to be like, where is she?
That's true.
Where is she?
Where is she?
He's so hilarious. We're going to have, so Ollie, when he gets mad, he likes to hold all his feelings inside. And
I feel like we've said this before. Keep going.
Maybe we have. I don't know. I'm so sorry. And he, like, it gets to a point where it builds up and he starts to act out, right? But in the moment, he's just like, fine, whatever. But Kai, the tiniest thing that you do, it could just be like, no, I'm not gonna let you put this random piece of trash that was, like, on the ground somewhere in your mouth. I'm sorry. And he will freak out, like, crocodile tears, like, are coming down his face.
Yeah. It's not just like a scream. It's like the tears are always, I'm like, always ready. You know what he did
to me today? He freaking threw himself on the ground.
Jeez Louise.
He threw himself on the ground. All because why did he throw? Because I didn't give him my phone. He threw himself on the ground.
Yeah. Yeah.
Crocodile tears. Like, his eyes were, like, red from crying already. I don't know. It was like a party trick. I don't know. And, like, instantly it looked like he'd been having, like, a meltdown for, like, an hour. But the thing is, those little outbursts, they last, like, maybe 1 minute tops. Yeah. But then he's fine. And he's like, nothing totally happened. Fine. Like, I'm fine. I didn't just cry. That wasn't me. What?
I know. They're so, like, dramatic and intense.
Yeah.
So, and then it's just like a little drive-by storm.
Yeah.
And it's gone.
Yeah. But, like, when Ollie starts to act out, that's hours. That's, like, a good 30, like, to get him from the point where he's acting out progressively, from the moment that he's acting out progressively until it's time to step in and say, what's going on? What are you feeling? Let's talk about our emotions.
Like days and days later. You know what I mean? It's never, like, same day that he acts out from the things that he's been holding on to. It's like, where did he learn on to hold things? Like, where did he learn how to hold on to things so
tight? Don't know.
Yeah. It's nuts. You know, I could have seen the sign of him, like being really upset about his binky today, and I wonder if it had to do with like quiet time at school.
Why?
Well, because that was his first day at school without his binky, and he was like biting
Maybe.
his nails, like he was like biting his nails in the car on the way home. Like he just developed that habit out of this whole thing. He bites his nails, which like
No, you know what he did when he was passing out? He started sucking his thumb,
no.
and I was like, and he was still sort of awake, but he was like passing out, but he was still awake, and I was like,
Yeah, we gotta nip that in the butt.
when I saw that, I said, "Oh my God, no, no."
Sometimes when he was crying and stuff with me, he'd like put his fingers in his mouth, like
He's testing them. Like, is there something else I
no,
can
he'd
do?
be like this, like like
Oh,
where's my
oh.
binky?
Mm-hmm.
Like there's nothing here to grab.
Well, because he always would do
He would
this.
grab it and he would like twirl it.
Yeah, when he was when he was
Go
a
ahead.
baby, it started one time. I remember when it started actually.
Wow.
Like I don't remember like the day or anything, but I remember that I noticed that he did it right, and I was like, And then I would try to make him stop, but he needed to do it. Like he needed
He
to
would
do
get
it.
really frustrated.
And he would
Yeah.
get frustrated. I was like, huh. And at first I was like worried. I was like, is this like some sort of like, I don't know, tick? I don't know, as we do, you know. He was our first baby also, but I also get worried about focus. And so then like like a day later, a day after that, Jesse was like, so like when he is falling asleep, he does this thing with his binky. And I was like, no, he does that with me too. He does that now. He just does that now. And he was like,
Yeah.
okay, good.
It was really weird. He takes it and then he flips it.
Like, not like, he just like turns
I
it
think I was
like
worried. Yeah.
like a knob.
I think I was worried about it because I have a friend. I like in high school. I had a friend who was older than me, and he couldn't go to sleep without like bopping his head on the pillow, and so he just like he'd have to do this all night until he fell asleep. That was the only way he could go to sleep. He did it since he was a little kid, and I was like, some things stay with you forever. And I was like, what is that? Like that habit, like, but then obviously if you take the binky away, he doesn't have the habit to perform. He's like neurotic, you know what I mean?
I think you're right. No, I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think he gets it from me.
Yeah. No argument. No argument there.
Kai does this thing where he like pulls hair. He's like, but not like he's not like he just literally wants to run his fingers through it. He just goes like this.
He likes sensations and stuff on his hands.
He does.
Like when I was just putting him to bed, he was like sleeping, and he was like doing this to my arm, like an adult would. It was just like really weird. Like it didn't feel weird at the time, but now I'm thinking about it. I was just thinking about it, and I was like, it's interesting. But you do that to him, so he probably just like.
I don't rub his arm. He's always done that to me.
Oh.
He just does that. It's so crazy, like to think of them as like the humans that they the humans that they are. They're even though they're so young, it's like you can sort of tell the kind of people that they're gonna be.
Yeah,
and I don't know where he learned that or how he learned that.
That's what I'm saying.
I just sometimes he comes out with things and I think like, where did this idea come from?
Yeah, I wish we had a place. Well, I guess we could like send out a tweet for it. I wish we had a place to where like when parents were listening to this, they could tell us like the things that happened to them. That like with their kids that are like that like they're like, there's no way that anyone I know taught you that. Or that you saw me or your dad or like partner doing that. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like it'd be really interesting just to hear like a lot of other people's stories about that.
Yeah, that's actually really interesting. Yeah, because there's like things that, I mean, I don't know, like the thing that he does, and it's
Yeah.
always a certain way. He never does it the other. Well, no, he does. He does it both ways. I don't,
Mainly
well, he
one way,
did
but
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, he does it like this way with this hand and this way with this hand.
Is that it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like Kai, he,
That's how he got so good at twisting bottles. So he learned that really early, like twisting caps on them and stuff. That's really funny.
yeah,
Sorry, you were gonna say something.
I don't remember, but I will say that Kai is very smart. He
Mm-hmm.
only has to see you do something once, and he's like, yes, I will do that.
Yeah.
He like literally,
Yeah.
yeah. And you know what he does? Like, I really love that he does. He just crawls up to you to like snuggle.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's like it lasts like maybe 10 seconds or less,
Yeah,
but
that's true.
he just comes
He'll
and
walk
like
over you to like cuddle, and then
he'll crawl over it. Yeah.
crawl away.
He's almost about to walk though.
He took a step today
Did he?
because after I put him in his night clothes, I was like, had him away from me, and the beanbag was right there. I was like, even if he took 2 steps, he would just fall into it. Like, and so I was like, walk. And he took a step, and then he grabbed the thing, but he didn't like, obviously he would have done this and then
Yeah.
fell, but like he wasn't wobbling. He like,
Was
yeah.
set like this way.
Yeah, his foot planted really well, and he was just like,
Yeah. That's funny because like he has like taken steps a little bit. I remember he was like, I don't know. I tried to make him stand and he like really wouldn't. But he looks like he has really good balance.
yeah, yeah.
You know why?
It'll be soon.
Because he always has had to be prepared for Ollie.
Gosh, that kid. I keep trying to tell him, dude, if you keep teaching him how to do these things now, when he's older, he's gonna do them to you. Like, you gotta stop getting in his face. I know you're excited and you're being nice, but he's just like, get off me, bro. He likes it when Ollie gives him nice, gentle hugs and stuff, and he loves it. But normally, Ollie's like, "Ee!" like just like in his face, like literally, like that's not even exaggeration. Just like grabbing his face and like right here.
Guy is like, he does not like that at all, and he like does a little scream, and then Ollie's like, because his screams scare him.
Yeah, which to like honestly,
who wouldn't
to
like?
be fair,
I mean, guy screams like a horror movie scream. I'm
just-
not even joking.
I haven't still. I wanted to make that TikTok video of Kai screaming, but it was dubbed over like a black and white horror film of a girl like in a shower, like.
Because
But
it
it's like
sounds
Kai,
just
it sounds
like
just
that.
like
Now's your moment. You have to do that.
yeah.
Because it's true. And so every time he does that, Ollie's like, and he gets very scared.
Yeah.
Yeah. And everything he sees Ollie do, like everything that Kai sees Ollie do, he does. Like he tries to. He goes for it. He's like,
Yeah.
yeah. And then Ollie's like, get him away because like he wants to play with everything that Ollie wants to play with already.
And I don't think that Ollie would have a problem sharing. Sorry. I don't think that Ollie would have a problem sharing.
No, I don't
If
either.
Kai played in a way that was actually playing and not just like mass destruction.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's just that he's just like, no, he's gonna ruin it.
Yeah.
He's meticulous.
Yeah, he really is meticulous. But Kai's persistent. Oh, Kai doesn't forget. Kai, I
You
think,
can put him on the other side of the room with all of his toys in front of him. He'll just walk by everything back.
to the thing
Yeah.
that you pulled him away from.
Yeah.
I like I feel like he developed this like thing that babies develop way earlier than I've ever said. Like it blew me away, and maybe that's because Kai's only the second baby that I've lived with like this. I don't know, but I've worked with babies and stuff, and I know at what age they're supposed to develop that. But like Kai like has known object permanence, I feel like since the day he was born.
Wow.
Like if you move something, he's like, there it is. Like, I know you hid it underneath here or
Yeah.
whatever. He's not like,
Yeah.
oh, the item disappeared and now I don't know. No, he's always been like, no, like, you're not fooling anyone. It's literally right there. Like, so what if it went behind your back? It's behind your back. Like, let's,
Yeah. That's
like,
true. I never thought of that.
whereas Ollie, like, I mean, up to like a year ago, we could distract him and get it out of view, and he would totally just like, oh,
That's
other
true.
things.
That's true. Wow.
I'm not saying that he didn't know it was there, but like also he was just like easily like, yeah, okay, that's fine. But Kai's like, no, I that thing is the thing
Yeah.
that I wanted, and I know where it went.
Yeah. And he also knows when he knows the moment with which he's not going to get it. And then that's when he scream drama cries.
So today he was like, he's so sly, and he does it so slyly. He gives you this like,
He's like, I'm going for it.
and then he goes for it. He like puts out it like a freaking like I don't know, but he's just like. And the whole time he's looking at you to see if you're going to react. And he's like, and I just look at him. Sometimes I take it away depending on
Yeah.
what it is. But sometimes I just look at him and he grabs it and he's like, and then he tries to make his escape after he knows he's grabbed it. And I'm like, no, that has to stay here or whatever,
Yeah.
But like he already, like he's so sly. He's like learning how to be
Yeah.
tricky and like,
I think the craziest thing, like with all kids at those ages where like you like the thought processes are like simple, but it's so profound that they know them.
mm-hmm,
Like I recognize different ones with Ollie than I do with Kai, but yeah, it's crazy. It's like he knows is, and I don't think this is like unique to him, but I'm saying like it's crazy as like in that age, like if you take something, they kind of already know the moment at which it's too far for them to grab. Like if it's on the other side of the baby gate, if it's like up too high, like they already know before they even attempt it that they can't get it.
mm-hmm.
And then they start crying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Because if you just put it somewhere else, maybe somewhere they could get to, like instantly, they start trying to get to it. But if they put it somewhere that you can't, that they can't, there's no way that they could, they know. They
Yeah.
know immediately that that's not a place that they can reach yet.
Yeah.
You're right. That's so crazy.
Like just like the thought process at such a young age that like they go through to then like let out the emotion. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To like to whatever the expression is
Mm-hmm.
of that, like this happened, this is happening because that happened, this is what's happening,
Yeah.
and now I'm going to react this way because it makes me feel this.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's all happening
What
already.
have you like? What have you noticed? Kinds of things did you notice for Ollie?
I think the fact that he was so engaged with everything, like he went from one thing to the next, the next, the next, the next, but he would like engage with it and like just want to know everything. And that's why it didn't matter what you put in front of him. If it was new, he was like, yes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, no, but he didn't like, he wasn't attached to anything. Like Kai gets attached to things like, I want this.
Yeah.
Like, this is what I want right now.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing else will suffice. Like you can't change my mind. Like if I want a bottle of water, like don't give me food. Don't give me a toy. I want my bottle of water.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And there's nothing cool enough to distract him. Whereas with Ollie, it was like anything new, it didn't matter whether it was like just like a really boring like adult thing or like a really cool shiny kids thing. He'd be like, "Oh my god, this is really cool. Okay, cool. What's next?"
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like he was, I think like just like from the moment he was born, like barely crying. Like he cried like a normal baby, but then he was just like, I'm not sleeping. Like, what is all this stuff? Like, I want to know everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like Kai doesn't
Yeah.
really, like
Yeah. Kai was like, that's old news.
Kai was like, it's not that he doesn't want to, like he's curious about things, but
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
like not like he doesn't see everything and he's like, yes, like I need to know all of it. He's like, no, that thing right there looks really cool. Like I don't care about the rest of it.
They both are all seeing. Okay.
Yeah.
But Ollie's like everything. Whoa. And Kai is like, that one specific wow. Not like that's it. Um it's so crazy. It is. And I just I it's when Ollie was born, look, I know all kids are different, right? And that they're each unique, but I did not expect them to be so different from each other. I just didn't expect them to be such different personality. I thought they would overlap in certain things. Oh yeah, they both do this. But if
Yeah.
you think about it, there's literally nothing they both do this.
Like they had like this, like a similar. I bet there's something, but it's very hard to think of what it would
Like
be.
they're so different, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah. The way they engage with like water, like showers and baths, totally different.
Mhm.
The way that their like sleep patterns are totally different. The way they react to like Tylenol is different.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. I literally like they're so different. There's like
They're all so different.
I
That's a good note to end
it's
on.
just yeah. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
They're all so different. Every single one.
All right, we'll be back. Thanks for listening.
Yeah.
And we'll be back next Tuesday for another one. Maybe that one will have a
And
clear
another
path.
one. And another one.
um,
We have
yeah.
topics. We just are out parented right now.
You know, we're just barely getting over that cold, so that family cold that we all had. So thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week.